and happiness in that second stanza. But there's a second possible meaning here, right? Break, break, break on thy cold gray stones. Cold gray stones. Cold gray stones. That could be connected to tombstones. It could be connected to a dead body, right? And so then this breaking and how he has really set that line apart. It's only 3 beats long, but the sounds in that word, break, are quite harsh, right? You've got a B, an R, and a K. Those are all hard sounds. They're not smooth sounds like an S. They're not soft sounds. They're hard. They're strident. That's what the word strident means. Something that's kind of harsh and kind of cutting or kind of obvious. So I would interpret the possible second meaning here to be that his heart is breaking. And so that's why I've made this jump in my analysis, that Tennyson elucidated that he is feeling broken up inside. Or so we could say readers can interpret a double meaning here. On one level, the author is watching the ocean. But, okay, however, so we're going to use our academic sentence. On a deeper level, this can be seen as a metaphor. So we're moving up into a more difficult or more advanced literary element here for death and loss. Okay, so we've kind of jumped a little bit ahead there, because normally we talk about the easier wordplay, like the alliteration that we see in stanza 3. There's a couple of nice examples of alliteration there, and how there's a lot of examples of anaphora and even of refrain. So let's kind of take a step back to consider those things when considering some of the word play level poetic devices. Tennyson, the great master, applied his skill with panache, which means kind of flair or artistry. The poem is littered with numerous examples of alliteration, anaphora, and refrain. And then here we could put in our citation, our non-integral citation, to mark this, and we'd go back and we might pick out a few lines here. So let's talk about, this is line 9, line 10, and line 13. So here's, when you want to do a list of lines, we go line 9, line 10, and line 13. So instead of doing a range, now we can pick the specific lines, okay? Now we're going to move into that final window on a deeper level. The image of the ships sailing under the hill can be seen as another death metaphor. The classic Greek mythology of spirits sailing underground to the underworld must be connected here. Finally, readers begin to understand that Tennyson is struggling to come to terms with a deep personal loss. This is why he could not even speak in stanza 1. He is almost breaking down, and that word makes sense there because of the title of the poem and that repetition and refrain, in tears. And we'll put one more citation here. And we can go back up to refer to the lines that specifically, right? It's right there. And I would that my tongue could utter the thoughts that arise in me. He wants to speak, but he cannot speak. So that's lines 3 and 4. Oh, I went too far. Tennyson is the crafty master. He buries his pain in a poem that can be read two ways. But when we look deeper, we feel the pain and sorrow he is trying to come to terms with. Okay, so we might not be happy with that last thought, with that ending thought, but overall, we have done a fairly solid job. So let's just do the last few things here. We're going to make this one bold, and let's see, how did we end up in terms of our word count? We know our sweet spot is from 200 words up to 330. Did we fall within that window? 330, wow, right on point. Upward level, but we still made our numbers. So it's at 330. So we could go back, we'll let it have some soak time, and then we could go back and revise it, try to strengthen it. But you can see that we've talked about our 4 windows, and we've included enough citation support, right? There's 4 different citations here to really kind of show that we have not only read and understood the poem, but we've utilized the poem itself to support our positions. Okay, there you go.